All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the Pop Tournaments podcast. I'm Jake Wicker. This is Ryan Barrett. Hope everyone is doing well. It is July 6th, 2020. Ryan, how are you doing? Have you been beating the heat?
I've been trying. I've been, we had a really busy 4th of July. Went out to a friend's house for a little barbecue, socially distant, of course, staying responsible. And then we went out to a relative's house for some more, barbecue stuff later that day. And so it felt like a long day in that 92-degree heat or whatever. But, you know, now back inside, AC, it's, it's all right. I'm
Well,
surviving.
you know where that term "beating the heat" comes from. Back in the day, you would just consume a bunch of beets to cool down, but actually, you just got gout. Just ended up with gout. Let's get to the tournament. We are halfway through the first round, starting up on the upper left with our very first 1 versus 8 matchup. We had Ned Stark 98 over Randy Marsh with 89. This was a high scoring affair right out of the gate. Ned kind of struggled, though, not bringing the domination. What do you think?
It was a bit of a surprise to me. I was expecting a stronger showing from Ned, but I think the bigger surprise in this was that Randy Marsh had so much love. I was shocked. If you were just looking at the comments, you would have thought Randy Marsh would have dominated this. He was getting so much love from the crowd. So many great Randy Marsh gifs and pics. So thanks for all the participation, all the love. Uh, but I'm happy to see Ned moving on. I think he's a great competitor. Obviously, we ranked him number one overall for a reason. Would have been a shame to see him go out in the first round.
Definitely probably see Randy again in a future tournament under different standards. I think Ned's going to have a real tough time going forward, though, not being able to just solidify that matchup kind of back and forth throughout the day. He's going to be facing off against the winner of the Tighty Whitey battle, and not referencing these guys as physical physique, more their prowess for wearing little man white underwear. But Hal Wilkerson just dominating 142 to 33 over Walter White. This was interesting. The goofballs really came out here.
Yeah, this was, on one hand, it was surprising to me because Walter White and Breaking Bad, that's such a culturally relevant show. It's so, in the zeitgeist where Malcolm in the Middle was not so much. But I'm not surprised because Hal definitely, had has that, fun-loving dad kind of side where Walter White, I think, is not a quote-unquote good dad, in the second season going forward. So not
Right.
exactly surprising, but still, I mean, a trouncing like that is very shocking.
Very shocking. Again, one of our highest vote totals ever up until something a little later. But with these first two matchups, like I said, watch out for those goofballs. You never know what might happen. Jumping down to our next 1 versus 8, and a huge, huge upset here. Charles Ingalls losing 102 to 75 to Dan Connor. Dan clearly not happy with his coming out and showing he belongs with the big boys, really putting on a show. Did you see this coming?
I absolutely did. I thought that this was a very likely outcome going into it. I think that because Charles Ingalls was from kind of a bygone era, I think there was a lot of love for him from people of a certain generation, but Dan Connor was definitely beloved as well. And, I think that Charles Ingalls is certainly, I think kind of like Atticus Finch. I know throughout time people have kind of grown to resent him. So, no, I'm not surprised at all. And,
Peop
am I bummed a little bit, but Dan Connor's a great character too. So I'm excited to see where we go. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes further in this tournament, honestly.
Dan could make a uh, going to be facing off against Michael Bluth, winning 91-66 over Stephen Keaton. A lot of people thought there was an upset coming here, but the Bluths are naturally sneaky, and the Flower Child really just didn't have that killer instinct to get it done. Interesting match. With Bluth going up against Connor in the next round. I can easily see the Connors living in a Bluth model house. This should be a big one. What do you have to say about it?
Yeah, like I said, I could definitely see Dan Connor moving on over Bluth. I think that just putting up the shows against each other, it's a no contest. I think that Arrested Development would be moving forward, but the character of Dan Connor, I think, is a much more likable character than Michael Bluth. So, I'd be on upset alert here.
Yeah, yeah. Although I could see the Connors supporting any Bluth politician also. Jumping over to the other side, we've got Carl Winslow, 124, and they're just trouncing over Martin Crane, 37 from Fraser. Another 4/5 blowout. Most of us saw this coming. Personally, I think maybe people just didn't agree with the plot hole that John Mahoney, the actor that played Martin Crane, had already appeared on Cheers years before, and it just didn't make sense that he could now be Frasier's dad. They've talked about doing a Frasier reboot. What if he's played a cop before? What if we got Martin Lawrence to play Frasier's dad in a Frasier reboot? Then I think the results might have been a little different here. But
Absolutely,
Carl definitely is a force to be contended with, I think.
Yeah, this it's going to be interesting. We can talk about the next matchup here in a sec, but Carl definitely had a real strong showing. I think if it was just Frasier versus Family Matters, I think Frasier would have moved on. But I just don't think there was a ton of love for that character. Martin, not Lawrence. But yeah, like I said, I think this next round is going to be a little tougher matchup for old Carl Winslow.
Yeah, he's going to end up going up against a early favorite for this whole tournament, Uncle Phil, who comes out of the gate and beats Jim Hopper 143-25, setting some records here. This is our most individual votes for one contender that we've ever had, our biggest margin of victory. I think a lot of us saw this coming, and it's a sad day for Jim Hopper. He's a good guy, but at some point the pain has to end, and we had to put him out to pasture.
Yeah, that this one wasn't a surprise at all. It's the amount of votes he got was inspiring, because he was my pick to go all the way in our first episode. So I still think he looks like a strong favorite. I think that he is going to put a hurting on Carl Winslow. But
yeah, he can't.
Jim Hopper was also not a great competition for him. I mean, if he would have went up against Dan Connor, let's say, another 8 seed, that it might have been a little tighter. Jim Hopper, I think there just wasn't a lot of love there.
Jim Hopper was not Buster Douglas in this situation.
No.
Jumping up to our last quadrant, and wow, did it go down last night. This might be the greatest match in the limited pop tournament history. That
absolutely
is going to exist for a while. The Master of Meat versus the Baron of Beef, Hank Hill versus Bob Belcher, and this one was back and forth all night. Before we get to the final score, did you see this coming?
No, not at all. I mean, yes, I saw this coming, that this was going to be the closest match of the tournament, of the first round. I didn't see a match this close and this intense, going up to the wire, down to the wire, up to the wire. Wow,
I mean,
that's a new
you
one.
got to go one direction or the other.
Yeah, yeah. But
I mean,
yeah,
really,
no,
this was the Detroit Pistons and Denver Nuggets in 1983. Nobody wanted to lose this match.
I kept refreshing, every 20 minutes, checking in and telling my wife Rebecca, like, oh, Bob's in the lead now by 2. And then, I check 15 minutes later, oh, Hank's in the lead by 1 now. Oh, Bob's up by 4 now. It just kept going back and forth. It was absolute insanity. I mean, it felt like, watching a basketball game or something where, as soon as it seemed like one guy got momentum, Hank would get an and one, and all of a sudden it would just twist the other way, and it was absolute insanity. I'm happy for Hank. I voted for Hank, full transparency, so I'm happy that Hank
I voted
won.
for Bob.
But
I'm upset.
But I'm just happy it was a good match. I would have been
the
happy.
fans. Yeah, the fans really came out this one. It was a packed house. Everybody was there on their feet. I'm glad. I kept looking outside, making sure that there weren't going to be people fighting against each other. Burgers being thrown at each other, spatulas flying everywhere. But Hank comes out on top, and definitely a worthy winner. Moving on to face yet another
I just want to say, I just came up with
this. Oh, go ahead.
A name for this match so that we can refer to it in the future. The Thrilla in Vanilla. Because, they're just both very white characters. And I don't think there's ever been like one of those historic boxing matches where it's been like 2 white dudes. So I think that can, we can call it
boxing
that.
existed back in the 1900s.
Oh, there was. There just wasn't any nicknames for the bouts. I don't think anybody was creative enough.
Nobody was promoting them.
No.
No. This was a matchup to behold. Like you said, 2 very, very evenly matched competitors. I think their wives would have been best friends outside of this. Neither of them have a butt, but still are somehow sex symbols to many people. So, but like I said, Hank, the Texan, moves on against another Texan. We got Coach Eric Taylor, not Coach Hayden Fox, which is a little confusing there, but Coach Eric Taylor beating Ray Barone in pretty dominating fashion. Probably one of our more boring matchups here in the first round, but I think Coach Taylor has clear eyes and full hearts going forward. Can he move on and dominate in this bracket?
I am worried. Coach Taylor is my favorite. He's my favorite dad in this tournament. And seeing him come out only getting 80 votes, and now having to go up against Hank Hill, who just got 108, squaring off against Bob in what will now be henceforth known as the Thrilla in Vanilla. It is not something I'm looking forward to. I really hope that the people come out in support of Coach Taylor, but I'm a little worried.
Is East Dillon gonna be able to send out enough fans? Because Arlen really had a strong showing. I mean, this is a classic Texas Dust Bowl right here. We have coming up in just over a week. But that rounds it out for our first round matchups halfway through. Any thoughts going forward? Now that we've seen the way people have been voting, any matchups that you think might be looking a little different to you?
Looking down the rest of the bracket here.
I think Frank Costanza and Fred Sanford is going to be just a bloodbath. I think the two are really going to hammer it out, and who doesn't like watching a couple of scrappy old guys smack each other around for a while?
Yep, that's
But
that's
yeah,
definitely the premier match of the second half of this first round, I think. Um, I think George Jefferson is going to come away with the upset over Keith Mars. We said in that first in our first episode that seating could easily be flipped around. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Um,
yeah,
I'm really excited to see this round two matchup between Ned and Hal. With
yeah. That could
with the
get
amount of
real
love
interesting.
Hal got, uh, could be interesting.
Yeah, Hal is I think he's a sleeper in this, even though he's a 4 seed. I don't think you look at this and go, oh, well, the dad from Malcolm in the Middle is going to be one of the top contenders, but definitely could sneak through to the final four. We've got Danny Tanner against Tony Soprano going on right now. Really hope you guys all get out there and vote. Remember, you can vote on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. We really appreciate all the interaction. Any final thoughts from you, Ryan?
Yeah, I just want to repeat. I said something in the Facebook group today, but this is all kind of your interpretation of world's greatest TV dad. We don't want to say world's greatest TV dad means XYZ. It doesn't mean the dad you most want to be your dad. It doesn't mean the dad you would want to leave your kids with. It doesn't mean the dad you think is the coolest or the show you like the best. It can mean all of those things or none of those things. I think just the greatest TV dad, however
Yep.
you see that.
Very, very well put.
So, keep that in mind as you're voting and going forward. Again, thank you so much to everyone who's voting, everyone who's checking in every day, everyone who's listening, everyone who's inviting new friends. We truly appreciate all of you, and the outpouring of support is truly inspiring.
Yes, yes. And lastly, thank you to Jimi Hendrix Energy Drink. Taste the experience. We'll see you again next time.